Look up the word crazy in the dictionary, and you might just find an asterisk beside the definition that says, listen to the Subiquitous podcast featuring Sue Duffield, and you'll find out what crazy means. Sue's travelogue journey of unfiltered stories, impossible miracles, and faith-filled fun will be revisited right here. So buckle up, and let's get going with this humorous travelogue of an unfiltered saint, Subiquitous.
So we have a simulcast episode going on at the same time with not only Aging, Angst, and Alleluias podcast, but also the Subiquitous podcast. And I can't think of two amazing women that I would rather have on a podcast. I don't care if we're talking about shopping or whatever, falling down hills or whatever we're doing. These are the people that have made a difference in my life. And it's Mary Anne Oglesby-Sutherly and Debra Talley. And what an honor to have you on simulcast at the same time on two different episodes. Deb, how are you today?
I am great. And it's an honor for me too. And, you know, talking about either falling down or shopping, those two things are synonymous with me. So let's just kind of go.
She is correct on that. She's got that part down.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
I do.
I know we talked about that, I think, Mary Anne, the last time we talked about your friendship together. And I really want your listeners as well as my listeners to understand that this just didn't happen, that this is a long-term relationship, and what a great one it is.
We said this on the first podcast. I think it's pretty cool. This is the 20th podcast for Aging, Angst, and Alleluias. Debs did the first one, and now she's on the 20th one. And so maybe she'll be on the 40th and the 100th. I don't know. But if she makes it that long, you know, we are getting on up there. And she's kind of got a limp now.
Oh, no.
But I will tell you, we've been friends a long time, and it's just kind of weird. If you knew that my brother's name was Eddie and Deb's brother's name was Eddie, Debra and Mary Anne. I mean, there's all kinds of things. We just sit there and go, really? That's the way it is in your family, you know? So, hey, we have been friends. It was funny because a couple of weeks ago, I brought out Thinking About Home because Sue, Jeff, made me a track to Thinking About Home. And I hadn't sang it in 100 years. And it was like singing something nobody had ever heard. But there was a lot in church that day that had never heard Thinking About Home. And I said, well, y'all just missed it because that's what the Queen of Gospel Music sang 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
So, man, I'm rethinking this now, I'll just tell you.
There's not a voice in gospel music, period.
Absolutely.
Comes close to Deb's, but
No.
there's not a heart as big as Deb's either when she is your friend. And so, Sue, us as a trio are a dangerous combination.
Yes, we are. And the thing about that is we don't really care either. I mean, you know, we're at that point in life where we don't, it's just, yeah, this is what we're doing today. All right. But Mary Anne is very kind in saying those things. But she and I have been friends for a very long time. And it's almost like we were separated at birth a couple years apart, if that's possible. And we just, everything clicks with us. And even our friend Rhonda will say, she just shakes her head because we will both have gone to one place in the store and come back and have the same thing in our hands. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's the truth.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Shoes. One time we ended up at a church and we looked down and we had on the same shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
funny.
the truth.
Well, we bought the same jacket one time, too.
Yeah, at Chico's. It was red. It was so pretty. And she said, do you mind if I wear my red jacket? Now, she was singing, not me. I just bought the jacket. And I said, well, why would I care if you wear that? It shows good taste. But Sue is that person in this trio that can just make you laugh. And sometimes I think as friends, we have to laugh.
Absolutely.
And Sue's that one that can go from funny to serious to compassionate in just a split second. And I love her podcast. So I'm honored to get to be on hers. The one that you just did, I don't even remember what week it was, but I just sat there and I thought, the knowledge that she has in the scriptures, it's just amazing to me, and how she can always turn it back around. And you just feel better when you get off her podcast. And I'm not just saying that because I can see her. Y'all can't, but I can. But it's the truth, you know? So we're a good trio. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you want us, just call us.
There you go. And And let me say this to you. I want to say thanks, Mary Anne, and thank you too, Deb. But, from afar, and I think I've told Deb this too, we were sitting at a Mexican restaurant somewhere. I don't know where we were. We were in your hometown. And I looked at her and I said, I'm sad that it's taken me to be 67 years old before I actually had a chance to be face to face with you. I'm sad that it's taken me that long because we have had so many roads where we were kind of like, she'd pass here, I'd pass there, Tallies were here, with Duffields were there. We never had that connection, but it took Mary Anne.
Isn't that something? Who knew she was the connector?
I know. And then even with Mary Anne, going back probably 4 or 5 years ago, Dusty Wells told me, he said, man, I want you to come with me to a thing called the Veranda Benefit. And I had no idea what it was. And I told Jeff, I said, what are we doing? He goes, I don't know. We're going with Dusty somewhere tonight to get free food. And I mean, it really boiled down to that. And I thought, dear God, I lived in Tennessee here for, many years. And how did I not know about the Veranda? First of all, because number one, my heart is with aging population. How did I miss it? Jeff said, well, I knew who Mary Anne was. And I went, well, why didn't you tell me?
I think there's so much truth in that. A righteous man's steps are ordered by God, and our paths cross when they're intended to cross.
You're right.
And we just, it was that point in time that that Mary and I connected, 35 years ago or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
It's not been 100, Mary Anne. But it's,
ministerially speaking,
yes. And the time that you and I knew who the Duffields were, never met them. And then Mary Anne started saying, well, the Duffields have been coming to sing at the Veranda. And I went, what? And, we all it just all comes together when it's supposed to.
It does.
And forms these wonderful friendships that, I feel about you gals like, I don't have to see you. I don't even have to talk to you, but I know you're there. And I know I could just go, hey, and we pick right back up where we left off.
That's right.
And that's just priceless to me.
It is.
Well, Dr. Potts says that the day at our caregiver conference when we were all there, and he said that was truly a life-changing caregiver conference for me because I was fed that day. It wasn't up to me he still talks about it. He even sent a song that he had written, and he said, I want you to listen to this and see what you think. And I said, well, I'll send it to Jeff and Sue and to Deb and let them look at it. And because he's just such a kind man.
He
and
is.
So God brings people in our paths that we don't think about.
Right.
I'm honored to be with y'all too because I'm youngest, and so it was kind of like an idol thing.
I knew it.
I knew she'd have
knew it was coming.
I'm the baby of the bunch, so I'm honored.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I love it. We know this. We've been in ministry for long enough to know that you're absolutely right, Deb, that God puts people in our path. Lucy Swindoll said years and years ago in one of her books, she talked about as you age, your circle becomes smaller, actually. And, when you're raising your kids and you're busy, you have a large, expansive amount of friends that you can call on. But Jeff and I talked about this even after the pandemic, that our friendship circle has become smaller and smaller. And that doesn't mean that we don't love these people, but it's almost like, thank you, God, for the ones that you've given us. And thank you for allowing us to feed into that. And that's what Mary Anne sees every single day of her life.
Every day.
Is that you really don't mean to judge others, but you do see ones that come across your path that really have a heart for giving and a heart for loving people. And if you don't have that in this business, what good is music and what good is caregiving?
Absolutely.
It is the truth.
Can I just tell you a little quick story about a gentleman that we knew on the road, and he would have us up in Pennsylvania. He was a big businessman of farm equipment, and he used to book us, and then he would take us out to lunch. One day he took us to this beautiful place, had a nice Sunday brunch, and we were sitting there. Now, he's an older man, and he said, I find that all of my friends are dying. And he said, so my inner circle now has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. He said, so I'm going to the next level of my circle, and I'm bringing those people in. He said, like you guys. that has stayed with
Oh,
me so
my.
long
Wow.
because I just thought, oh, when we get to that age and our circle is so small now that our dearest and longest friends have passed,
Right.
do we have that next slightly outer circle of that to bring them in even closer to finish out our days on earth? And that was just such an epiphany for me.
But don't you think sometimes, I mean, I look at Lauren, Deb Talley's daughter, Lauren Talley, and I see in her the youngness of Deb, but I also see in her that compassion. There'll be a text come through every now and then, and I'll go, a chip off the old block.
I love it.
That's sweet.
Because she is, and of you and Roger, as far as that goes, but I can see how we have to gather in.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, doing it like I did it, say, okay, teach me how you feel and I'll show you what I know.
Exactly.
And then we can meet on level ground. But bossing each other around and saying,
Right.
This is my way or the highway is not going to work.
Well, I think caring for my in-laws, Lauren's grandparents, and we cared for them together,
Right.
Right.
not me and then her, but together. So we walked through that journey together, and I think that was the switch for her.
Yeah.
To just go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what you've been talking about. There's so many layers to all of that.
Right.
The things that we learned together, the things we learned about ourselves, the things we learned about God in caring for our loved ones. And it thrills me to death to see my daughter go ahead and go, hey, let me do that for you. Let me pick up on that. I have a friend that we've known forever in Chattanooga. She went through cancer. And Lauren said, I went to see Joy. Now, Lauren's not a big visitor. But she said, I went to see Joy. I said, you did? And she said, yeah. She said, I took her 3 kinds of soup. And I said, what? You did? And she said, yeah. She said, she's going through cancer. And she can't get up and do a lot. It's really sapped her strength. I just thought she might like a warm cup of soup. And I'm telling you, I could just weep right now thinking about that because I thought, oh, she does get it.
Yeah.
She does get it. And she has told me, she said, Mom, I will get the very best nursing home for you and Dad that money can buy. And I'm going, well, thank you.
Well, I'm going to tell you, she's going to have to look long and far. I'm not sure about all that.
Well,
I'll talk to her about that.
I'll take care of you. But she said, I will take care of you. But yeah, we're not doing that.
Well, see,
and
Deb,
I said, well, you know, the will can be changed.
That's right. And since Mary Anne
will can be changed.
is the youngest, she's going to take care of us. See, that's what it is.
I will.
Good luck with that, Mary Anne.
Yeah, Lord help me.
Oh, mercy.
Only if you're in the same room. I can't do 2 separate rooms. Y'all just have to be in there together,
Yeah,
and I'll come once a week and do whatever.
It'd be party room all the time.
It's party central at the home.
Oh, golly.
You know, there's Christmas gifts, and we're going to switch over there to that here in a minute. You were talking about Lauren and Sue's children and things that we have in common. I had a Christmas blessing. It's the simple things in life that I find brings the greatest joy.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted Doris and I said, how are you doing? And she said, okay. And I said, just okay? She said, I am at the Perot in Texarkana, it's the Perot Theater, with my girls watching Rudolph.
Oh, my word.
And so but as sick as she's been and as sick as she was that night, God still at Christmas gives those special gifts.
Oh, wow.
And that special gift was not her, but it was to see her children, her grandchildren, enjoying. I said, well, how did my girls, Maylee, they call me Meow Meow. I said, how did Meow Meow's girls like Rudolph? She said, oh, they loved it.
Oh.
And so it's those simple things, watching your grandchildren enjoy something when you thought you might not even be here.
Absolutely.
But that gift of Christmas,
wow,
that gift of Christ, that gift that he gives us all, I just tell you, I have cried. I said, I'll be watching Rudolph after Thanksgiving. I'll be crying my eyes out. People will think I've lost my mind. I don't think until we're our age that we truly get what something so simple can mean.
Yes.
That's right.
Especially during the holidays, especially for those living with dementia during the holidays, especially those that are aging, placed in a home.
That's right.
It's the simple things of life.
It is.
Yeah.
That's my Christmas blessing.
It is a
That's my
blessing.
Christmas.
Oh.
I don't care what else happens.
No.
She got to sit in a beautiful theater that had been restored and watch her granddaughters watch Rudolph. I doubt there was very much of it that Doris watched, but
Yeah.
she watched her girls' faces.
Wow.
So God's good. He's good.
Absolutely.
And for my listeners, Mary Anne, I want them to know about Doris because they don't know who Doris is. They know that it's your sister, but just tell them a little bit about your history with her and then what she's been going through just a little bit in the last year or so.
She is my baby sister, almost 10 years younger than I am. So she's way younger than me. And she's been sick for probably 6, 7 years, really sick. And part of it is the reason why I do what I do. Part of it is that she and my mom both, I've lost my dad, my mom, and my sister almost, and still probably will, if the truth be told eventually, due to medical care that wasn't the best in the land. And so it could either make me really bitter or it could give me an opportunity to do things for others. And so kind of that's how the veranda started, was because of what happened to my mom and dad. But for Doris, it's been a rough 3 years. She's had a stroke. She's had a heart attack. She had a bypass that was a hot mess. Funny, but my mom's doctor lost his license. My sister's doctor lost her license. And so leaves you tainted a little bit. It leaves you bitter a little bit. So you have to work really hard at not being bitter. But because of that, she ended up in the hospital a month or so ago, 2 months ago, that she had to have what they call a heart pump, a LVAC pump. And it's been a rough journey for her. Many times she could have been gone, but for some reason, God kept her here for us. So the Christmas Rudolph thing was a big deal.
It's a big
She's
deal.
hooked up to a pump, to a battery pack, all kinds of things, but yet there's still joy in the season. I believe Jesus gives us the reason for the season. She's my baby sister.
And she's a sweetheart. She really is.
Yeah.
Not to belittle anything you just said, because you could have lost her. And I know Doris. Whew, she went through more than any one person should ever have to go through. The only thing I kept thinking was, with all of these malpractice things, was they need to move.
Yeah.
They need to move to a place that's got better healthcare.
Right. You're right.
I know. But I'm not sure in the angst of our things that there is any place anymore.
No, there's probably not.
COVID has forever changed healthcare.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
it
It's just the truth. It's the blunt part of me. I'm not sure how it will be fixed. I know God's in control. I know that. And He is in her life, and He is in all of our lives. But we're in a pretty precarious place these days if you're aging. And for her, she's not as old as we are, but she's not 25 or 30, the prognosis. So I think we all should be mindful of that. It's not like it used to be. Nothing is. But hey, God's still in control. That is the one thing.
That's right. So little elves here in front of me, you can't see them, but they have been working their little tails off for a long, long time in an area of ministry that I already told Mary Anne, I will sweep your floors, but don't ask me to do what you guys just did in the last several weeks. And tell us, Mary Anne, this whole preparation for this amazing gala called A Christmas to Remember on November the 29th, it is going to be spectacular. We're going to talk about the actual event, but talk about what it takes to get to that event, first of all.
A miracle.
A miracle. That's a miracle. You know what's funny, though? I said we've been working I have probably a couple of months on all kinds of things. We have wreaths and trees and all kinds of a huge silent auction, and we do them ourselves here. I get some people that donate things, but for the most part, people donate stuff, and then we make things out of that stuff. And so creations, I don't know, maybe it's creations that we make.
That's
I
right.
don't know.
That's
but
a nice
Deb,
word.
my friend Deb, this is how good a friend she is. She's already been here 3-day spat about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I called her one day and I was just about despondent. I was exhausted. I was tired, and I knew I had a deadline. And so the one weekend she had available was this past weekend, and she said, I'll just come help you. I'll just come help you. And so that's kind of the friends. And
Yep.
she knows if she ever gets down, I'll come and help her. I'll do whatever she has to do and what I have to do. But because of that, we'd have gift boxes, and Deb sat in a chair and put gift. We have some really good ladies, cool gift boxes with some
Oh
cool
my.
stuff in them. We've been working on that. We've been working on getting the silent auction, and there's many things to the event: the music, getting it all done, sound check, all of that stuff. Who's going to sing what? Everybody wants to sing "Mary, Did You Know" or something. I don't know. You have 5 versions of "Mary, Did You Know" or something like that. You just have to. And we're excited because we have new people this year. This is our 11th event. The Talleys have been at every event we've had to sing.
That's
And now
awesome.
that they have retired and made us all mad,
I know, we're
that
mad.
we
We're still
can't,
mad.
that we're mad. We're just mad, Sue.
We're mad.
Lauren picked up the banner and she said, I'll be there. And Sue and Jeff are there for the
Yes.
second year. It's really funny how God puts people in your path just when someone else is retiring and laying it down.
That's true.
There comes 2 other people in that become fast friends and see the vision. If you don't understand the vision at the veranda and you don't understand that it's not about us, it's about those probably 30 people that will be there on the 29th that have families
Yeah.
that have lost their loved ones. We'll have families there that their loved ones are going to be with them. They love music. It is that part of the soul that is always reachable. I mean, like Dave Clark's coming. I don't even know. I'm about threatening to quit not even sing because Dave Clark's going to be there. And, I mean, all these other people that just make you so nervous you can't hardly stand it. Y'all are used to it. I'm not. But it's going to be a great evening. And it's always tributes going to be there. And they've been there 10 of those years. Riley Clark, all 11 years, such a great young man. It's very humbling to me that I do have friends that saw my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much my vision. Everybody has a vision for something, doesn't always. But when people can see your heart, that's what causes them to say, let me help you.
Right.
And so Jeff and Sue's going to be here in another week or so and sing some Christmas music for the clients. And Billy Blackwood's going to come and sing at our Christmas. I mean, how can you, somebody that was a nobody from rural Arkansas, end up in Nashville, Tennessee, and you have people that have sang gospel music their whole life that says, hey, I'll help you.
Let me answer that.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
because you and I know that it's the accolades of someone like Billy Blackwood, of course, and then you have Lauren, who has such a legacy of faith in her life. Doing something outside of what we do normally as music and those kinds of things, those are fulfilling. I'll be honest with you, it's nice.
Absolutely.
But there is nothing. I will preach this to the day I die. There is nothing. I just did it this past weekend at the Good Samaritan house in Fairfield Glade for about 30 seniors. There is nothing that fulfills me anymore than singing with the seniors or singing with aging and the elderly.
Right.
Not singing to them, but singing with them.
Yes.
And I come out of there and I feel like I had a whole B12 shot. I feel like that my life is just, there's purpose.
We had Thursday music, which is we always do. And so I thought, well, it'll be nice to ask if you had anything on your Christmas list, what would it be? What would be on your Christmas list? Now, this is to people living with dementia. If you get in their world, they can answer your question. But I was sitting looking at Frances. Now, Frances is always looking for a boyfriend. And so she finds one. And so she's funny as she can be. But on this day, I looked at her and I said, okay, Frances, you just tell me this. If you, on your big Christmas list, what would Santa bring you if you could? And her whole countenance changed and her chin dropped and she said, well, what I want, he can't bring me. I want my husband.
Oh, yeah,
Well, it just about killed me.
yeah.
And so really fast, I had to think, okay. And so then I said, you know what, Frances? But the best gift is that one day you will see him again.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going to get that Christmas wish. It's just might not be this Christmas,
Right.
but one day you will. You'll see him. And just think, she goes, I'm going to hug him and hug him and hug him.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's why I do what I do. That's why there's a benefit. That's why, because people would have counted out the Franceses of this world. They have.
They already have. That's right.
They already have.
Yeah.
And yet such truth can come from them. And so that's why there is a benefit. That's why there's friendship between us three, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And at Christmas and at Thanksgiving, I have to say, at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, that is the one thing I am blessed with, is an abundance of people that saw the vision I had. And their hearts were as big as all outdoors. And so, hey, how can you go wrong with that? And then the Lord to be in charge of all of it. It's a win-win.
Mm. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And our event is, I think, second to none.
Me too.
I have been to a couple of silent auctions. I never could go to a whole lot of stuff, being on the road. There is nobody that has the items and the gift baskets and they are
they're spectacular.
luxurious.
Yeah.
They are elegant. They are price points for everyone. They are, when you walk in, you think, oh, wait, have I come into Santa's workshop? This is incredible. And people just can't look at it fast enough. And I know that myself because I'm one of the ones that will bid on things. And if I know you real well, I might run the bid up on you a little bit, but never mind about that.
No, she's not telling the truth on that one. She don't do that. No,
I really don't. I did once, but I don't do it anymore.
We've done that before on Roger.
Yeah. I know.
We ran his bid up. It was something he wanted real bad. But he's full of money, so it don't matter.
He's got big
But
pockets.
it is a beautiful event. And there's so much thought and planning, and Mary Anne just outdoes herself every year. And I think, how in the world does she do it? And every year it just keeps going up and up. But when you get in there and you see all this stuff and you get in the Christmas spirit, it's a great way to go ahead and start your shopping if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
And it benefits such a wonderful cause. And then you can go in the sanctuary where the concert is, and you see all the people on stage, and they are just pouring their hearts out and performing. And it's a wonderful concert. And then if you happen to be lucky enough to be on stage, you look out and you see those families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you can't sing like that and sing for them, to them, about them, then you just need to go home and sit down and think about yourself, because I'm telling you, it is just a wonderful, wonderful event. And you walk away going, wow, we had such fun, but we also did a lot of good. We did a lot of good for these people who are kind of holding on to the end of their rope. And in many cases. And that's, to me, there is nothing more fulfilling than being able to just, it doesn't take much to change a life. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's just a pat on the back. Sometimes it's a hug when somebody doesn't get a hug anymore.
Right.
And that, to me, that's the essence of what we do in our professional lives as far as singing and traveling and all that stuff. It's not about applause. It's not about any of that stuff. It is about God sending you these divine moments in your life when you can just love on somebody. You might not know what it does for them, but boy, you know what it does for you.
That's right.
There's about 4 that were there last year that have gone to be with the Lord this year. Mm-hmm. So we've had 10 people this year that started out in January of last year that we no longer have. They're at peace now, and dementia has no hold on them anymore. No. But there was a gentleman there that was a physician last year. And I'm not bragging, but I was singing There's a Savior. And then out of the corner of my left eye, I saw this man shoot up out of his chair, and he was just worshiping. And I thought, I was trying not to think so much about it because I'd forget my words. And I thought, but I could see him. And when it was over, his wife came up to me and she said, my Christmas gift happened tonight. She said, when he shot up out of that chair and worshiped, I had not seen it in 3 years.
Oh my.
He had never made an attempt. And so back in June, when Dr. Jackson passed away, she called and she said, we have to have There's a Savior, because that was the happiest moment we had had, and he had had in a long time. So God does use people that have dementia, and he does still speak to them, because the lyrics of a song, the rhythm of a song touches a part of the brain. Never forget it. That reasoning and all kinds of other things don't touch, and that's called music. And so that's why there's a music event. That's why we love music here. That's why God, I believe, has sent people our way that get it.
That's right.
Honestly, I don't want people here that don't get it.
No.
I want people here that do get it.
Right.
And the church should be on the forefront. I'm just going to throw that in
That's
and
right.
leave it there.
There you go. But I will say in closing, and I'll put my announcer voice on for this one because I want to make sure that everyone listening knows that November 29th, 2022, at Three Oaks Church in Gallatin, Tennessee, it's a Christmas to remember. And our host for the evening is Billy Blackwood. We'll be hearing some great music by Lauren Talley and Tribute and Riley Harrison Clark and Angie Prim and Jean McDonald and Mary Anne Oglesby-Sutherly and even those wacky, crazy people called the Duffields will be there on that night. And you can get tickets right now, in fact, right, Mary Anne, at verandaministries.org.
Right.
And it's $25 to get in. But man, I'll tell you, it is the best bang for your buck ever, ever, ever.
Exactly.
And we have a huge coffee bar that's free. People wassail.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Hot chocolate, you can just, it's so Christmassy. It is a great way after Thanksgiving to start the holiday season. It is full of Christmas. It's full of Christ's love. It's full of joy about a Savior that came for all of us. And so I'm excited y'all are all going to be there.
We're excited too.
We're going to be there with bells on. So I have an idea. Let's close this out with something weird.
Oh, golly.
Would it be weird to us or is it?
I think it's weird to us. It's going to be weird.
It would be fun if Mary Anne could sing and then Lauren, and then, listen, I'm calling her Lauren. Deb and I kind of back you up on something. Would that be fun? Just
Go
sing.
ahead.
What would it be? Silent Night.
All right, we could do that. You do the lead and I'll sing whatever. We'll find her.
You sing above, I'll sing below.
Okay, all right. Ready? Okay, go ahead.
Silent night, holy night.
Oh, that's way too slow. Wait a minute. Let's edit that.
Well, I know, but I'm trying. I can't hear. There's a.
Maybe
all right, I'll do it faster. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Maybe, I never thought about the fact that you can't hear on a delay. Maybe that won't work.
Never stopped us before.
It never stopped.
It never stopped. We'll do it fast and see if it'll happen. All right, here we go.
Ready? Okay, ready?
Silent night. Oh, it's not going to work because it's coming in different times.
That's right. We tried. You know
we
what?
tried.
It's all right.
You know.
It's okay. No,
It's
let
okay.
it out. But anyway, join us on November the 29th. I
And
cannot
we won't
wait.
sing that.
We won't be
And we
singing.
won't sing Silent Night.
Knowing Jeff, he's going to keep this in the podcast. I have a feeling he's going to.
Oh, Lord. Well, I don't
That's all
care.
right.
Wasn't it? We were off pitch. We just weren't together.
We weren't together.
I know a lot of people like that.
I do too. Thank
And
you.
they can hear.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
All right, at Three Oaks Church right there in Gallatin, Tennessee. Any more information you'd like to know, it's November the 29th. And the start time is, what time do the doors open, Mary Anne?
The doors open at 5, silent auctions at 5, and the concert starts at 7.
Well, the auction ends at 7. 5 to 7 is the silent auction.
Well, for those listening on the Aging, Angst, and Alleluias podcast, you know what we think about the incredible ministry of this respite program. We are just over the top excited for a brand new year coming. And at the same time, on the Ubiquitous podcast side, let me say to all of my friends that are listening, welcome. Welcome to the lives of Mary Anne and the lives of Deb Talley, because let me tell you, these are two of the finest people you'll ever meet. And I can say to you without a single hesitation that they are part of my life forever. I love you both, and I thank you for being a part of both podcasts.
We love you, and we love your... See, I can't say I can't get it out. Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous. It's a good podcast. Y'all need to sign up.
You
for
need
that.
to listen to it. For goodness
I learned
sake, she's
stuff from
very
that.
spiritual.
She's a teacher.
She is a teacher. She is.
Last time it was, do you know what a tittle is?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was funny.
I did know what a tittle was.
I
didn't know what a tittle was.
I heard a preacher say it one time. That's
Yeah.
the only reason I know. But anyway, you learn stuff.
It's a dangerous word, though, when you think about
Well,
it. And then we'll end with that.
If you get carried away, it'll bring a church house down. I'll just tell you that.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.